The administration of former U.S. President Donald Trump made it clear to Ukraine that essential U.S. security guarantees depend on Kyiv's formal agreement to a peace deal, which will likely require significant territorial concessions regarding the Donbas region. According to the Financial Times, citing several individuals familiar with the negotiations, Washington also indicated that it could offer Ukraine more weapons to strengthen its army in peacetime. If Kyiv agrees to withdraw troops from those parts of the eastern region it currently controls. However, Reuters was unable to promptly verify these statements or confirm their accuracy. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky previously stated that the U.S. document on security guarantees for Ukraine is 100% ready, and Kyiv is now awaiting agreement on the time and place for its signing. President Zelensky has stated that Ukraine's territorial integrity must be fully maintained in any potential peace agreement. However, Ukraine is growing skeptical that Washington will actually commit to providing long-term security guarantees. A high-ranking Ukrainian official told the Financial Times that the United States appears to hesitate every single time it comes to signing these guarantees. It is reported that the government in Kyiv requires the guarantees to be confirmed before making any territorial concessions. However, the United States government currently believes that Ukraine should give up Donbas for the sake of bringing a definitive end to the conflict, and is not pressuring Vladimir Putin to abandon this demand. This is absolutely untrue. The primary and singular role of the United States in the peace process is to bring both sides together to reach a final agreement, said official White House Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly.
Secondly, this weekend on Sunday, there will be another round of negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. I'm very curious to know, could you tell us exactly how the president will be involved in this, if at all? Will he be speaking directly with President Putin or President Zelensky before these meetings?
At the moment, I have no scheduled calls to announce. The president remains involved as advisors keep him updated on these negotiations, including Jared Kushner and Special Envoy Witkoff. Last weekend, they had a multilateral meeting that was lesser known but historic. The president's team brought both sides of this war to the table to move forward on the path to peace. So the president is not giving up on the peace process. He has, of course, met with President Zelensky. Another person familiar with the U.S. position also specifically noted that Washington is not trying to force Ukraine into any territorial concessions, adding, however, that security guarantees depend entirely on whether both sides agree to a peace deal. In closed-door talks in Abu Dhabi, official representatives from Kyiv and Washington deliberated on potential mechanisms for stabilizing the ongoing situation in eastern Ukraine. According to the New York Times, one of the proposals considered was the deployment of an international contingent in the occupied part of Donetsk region. According to the publication's sources, the discussion involved creating a security zone with the participation of peacekeepers from countries that are not members of NATO. Such an approach, in the view of the Ukrainian and American sides, could reduce tensions while also circumventing the Kremlin's fundamental rejection of the alliance. Moscow, however, took an extremely hardline stance. The Russian delegation was represented by Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov, and its position boiled down to a single demand: the complete withdrawal of Ukrainian forces from Donetsk Oblast without any interim solutions. In an effort to provide justification for its various demands, the Russian side makes specific reference to some secret agreements that were reportedly reached last summer in Alaska between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. According to the official Moscow version, these agreements provide for the transfer of control over the entirety of the region to Russia, including areas that are currently still under Ukrainian control. According to reports published by the New York Times, the details of the so-called Alaskan Agreement have not been officially published. But Russia uses it as a primary argument to firmly reject any compromise formats and international initiatives. It was also previously reported when the next meeting between Ukraine, Russia, and the United States will take place. According to the president of Ukraine, during the previous negotiations, the parties managed to discuss various issues of a more military nature. And preliminarily, the teams will meet again this Sunday, February 1st. At the same time, Zelensky stated that the document on American security guarantees for Ukraine is already 100% ready and only needs to be signed. The key issue in the trilateral negotiations between Ukraine, the US, and Russia that took place this week was the future of Donbas. The Kremlin is demanding the transfer to Ukraine of the remaining part of Donetsk region under its control as a key condition for ending the war, and at the moment, this is the main obstacle to reaching an agreement. Moscow is promoting the so-called Anchorage formula, which envisions full Russian control over Donbas and freezing the front lines in other areas. That's all for now. Share your thoughts in the comments. Leave a like and see you next time.